Okay, I'm here with Frank.
Port Clinton Barbershop.
Port Clinton Barbershop.
In Port Clinton, Pennsylvania.
He invited me yesterday. I was walking through town. He invited me to come up and have Danish and coffee this morning. Came in, got a haircut. He's letting me charge all my devices here.
Not a prerequisite.
What's that?
Haircut's not a prerequisite for Appalachia.
No, it's not a prerequisite, but I needed it. So,
well, thank you.
My wife's happy about that because she's coming up in about 4 days to meet me and my son, who's from Bolivia. So it's really a blessing to have people that are trail friendly to hikers, because sometimes we stink and we look homeless.
Well, not necessarily. You had a couple of words in there that apply but don't apply for me. Friendly is very important, that we all treat each other as friends and take it from there. Hiker friendly, that adds to it. And so our deal here at the Port Clinton Barbershop is to help everybody mitigate north, south, east, or west, whatever they're doing on the trail. Because we're all passing through trying to get to the other side.
Yeah.
So if we can help you get to that other side, then we did a good thing today and tomorrow, and as life moves on. That's our plan, my wife and I. We probably won't meet today, but never know. And how we look at this thing called life. You know, play some music and have some fun, laugh, and understand where we're going. Pray for the people who are ducking and diving bombs and crazy things, and what's the point? 195 countries, 8 billion people can't get along. Don't make any sense to me, but...
So you told me that you'd been involved with the AT Guides stuff. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
The AT Guide has gone through many different transformations, and that's you said you do have the book.
Yeah, the AWOL Guide.
Yeah, the AWOL Guide. And so it's a guide to give you a generalization as you're forward thinking in your next moves. From
I was looking at it this morning, planning out what my next 4 or 5 days look like.
And it really helps. The 3As in different organizations have trip tickets and whatever else. I'm a horse and buggy guy, so I don't follow a lot of that fancy stuff that's on there. But
so do you help give them input about water sources and stuff like that?
In this generalization area, yeah. Sure.
Like yesterday up on the mountain about 5 miles back, it said there was a stream. Well, the stream was dry when I got there.
Yeah. Well, what we're handling here is that when you hit into the Port Clinton area, so you're coming out of York and in Pennsylvania, crossing over, it gives you a general idea. I can go to Cabela's, the largest Cabela's in the world is here.
Yeah.
The Walmart here can resupply, where our shelters are, who's hiker friendly, back to that again, the various restaurants and things that are. That's what we're supposed to do to help you guys move along. And it's interesting. For us, it's as a little old small town, one-horse town, no police, no postal other than the old boxes, to meet people from all over the planet. Now, where would you do that in a little community like Port Clinton? So Australia, New Zealand, all your Scandinavian countries and Europeans, and occasionally the Middle East when they're not fighting and carrying on. Very few from Russia and China per se, but we've had a few over the years. But it's fun because, again, you get a perspective of what people think of us and our government and how we govern things, and then they tell us a little something about themselves. That's why we have you guys log in. How do you come up with a trail name? Who gave you the trail name? What was your profession before? What gave you that thought process? I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing out there in the world, leave my wife and family and children, cat and dog and parakeet and goldfish, and decide to walk the trail.
I tell people you have to have a screw loose to be doing this, but
well, not necessarily. That walking is healthy, obviously very, very healthy. And when you're transferring that oxygen to the brain, you're getting to think about your past and your present and your future of your life, which and really what you left behind would only possibly improve that.
It's interesting. I took a 0 day a while back, and it was almost like I was depressed because my body wanted to be moving. Because
Exactly.
once you're used to be moving, you don't feel like you're doing anything. I mean, it was partly the venue, but it was just really weird.
Well, a lot of men get that pump iron and that sort of thing. If they missed their day or something happened, the anxiety happened. And the same thing for I'm a reader. I must read to finish the book, find out what really happened,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
anxiety. And when we're working out something on the music, I must practice more and play more. And so the anxieties of life is the motivation, perhaps.
Well, anyway, thanks. It was great to stop in here. You're letting me charge my device, so I'm going to drop back later and pick them up. I'm just
Thank you,
gonna leave
thank
them
you.
here for a
Yeah.
little
Where are you
bit.
heading to?
I'm going to head to the first shelter.
No, I mean now that you're going to come back.
Oh, I'm going to go back to the pavilion. I've got a resupply box I need to put in order and get in my pack.
Okay, so that box, whatever you're going to do, you can bring that up here, and then any box and trash you can put in the back of my pickup truck.
Okay.
Or leave it in here.
I got rid of the trash at the post office yesterday, but I just need to organize it and get it in my pack and get all my stuff together.
Well, we're here to help you. I'll take it over to my little farm.
Thank you so much for the offer. And Frank, did I say this earlier? You met me in town yesterday when I was walking.
I remember.
Boy, 80 some degrees. What was it yesterday? It was hot.
Well, I think it went over 90 at one point in time. Humidity was bad. I'm not a fan of that sort of stuff.
So it was really welcome. So if you don't mind, Frank,
well, you said to me you like pastry.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I said,
did say that.
Free coffee and plenty of pastry. And you said, oh, I like pastry.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee much. Well, I drink it like once a year, you know.
Oh, really?
I drink with my wife every now and then.
Yeah. How about tea? Are you a tea drinker?
I drink tea.
Yeah, me too. I like tea. There's a lot of flavors.
I'm going to take a little shot around your barbershop here. Is that okay with you?
Sir. Have some fun.
It's kind of.
And what was your real first name?
My real first name is Ron.
Ron, because you offered it earlier, but I don't know if you gave it. Well, Ron, have some fun. Like I said, we're all passing through trying to get the other side. And
my
remember
buddy
what Jimmy said? See, Jimmy's all over the place. See, Jimmy up here, Jimmy over there. He said, if I don't see you in this world, I'll see you in the next. Don't be late.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to pan around here in the barbershop a little bit, and we've got guitars, and you've got some vintage stuff in here for sale, and bookshelves, and just really a cool place. So
now the books anybody can borrow and take home. I've read them all at least 2 or 3 times. I bring them in, and we ask people to bring books in that they've read. No X-rated type of material. Yeah. That's all in your brain. Keep it in your own brain.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you.
Yeah, what you want to do is keep it to yourself. But they can borrow any of our literature, and they do. Take it home. Don't bend the pages. Don't put coffee cups on. Bring them back so someone else can read them.
Yep.
We have 7 or 8 consigners, and they bring in various things that they find whatever the heck they're doing. So we're sort of and I'm also an A&A member. That's American Numismatic Association. I'm studied and trained in numismatics of U.S. coin and currency. I do free appraisals for our customers. I generally would have that there, but I didn't get a chance to put it out today. So I'm well versed in that sort of thing. I'm kind of a
jack of all trades.
I don't know a jack of all trades, but sort of a boring person because I like to study and read, and I'd rather do that than do anything.
Well, thanks a bunch, Frank, for doing this interview and for your friendliness and for good
That's
haircut.
Natasha in the middle, Miss Amy on the bottom.
Natasha cut my hair this morning.
Yeah.
My wife will be very pleased.
Yeah.
So, started day 74. Well, actually, the day has started a little bit. I've been up to the barber shop for some Danish, but this is kind of my setup here in the pavilion. I slept here last night. I had a pretty good night last night. I really needed some good rest, and I just took my time and slept. And so the plan for today on day 74 is I'm going to hike to a shelter that's not so far out of town, maybe I think it's 5 miles. I'm going to reorganize all my food. Oh, by the way, I got a haircut at the barber shop, if you can't tell. They cleaned me up good. And I'm going to hike there, so I don't need to leave out of town till maybe even after lunch. The choice is 5 miles or 15 miles, and I just didn't think I had 15 miles in me. Talked to some other thru hikers this morning. They're just saying that the rocks have been beating them up too, so I don't feel so bad. I was beat up and a little dehydrated when I got to town last night, so I'm going to take it easy today, go to camp near a shelter that has water, and then in 3 more days I'm meeting Mrs. Grayson and my son who's home from Bolivia. Probably will take a 0. I had a wonderful time up at the barbershop talking with Frank, and so he's just an interesting guy, and it was interesting to watch the customers coming out, in and out, and listen to what he's saying. He's letting me charge all my battery stuff up there, or most of them anyway, are being charged. I'm getting my battery bank all charged up so I can keep going with videos, etc. This morning's task is to take all my resupply now and organize it. It's going to be heavy. It's another reason why I may take the alternate route. He told me I can be a purist and still hike the AT, that he'll tell me how to hike the old AT and skip some of the gnarly rocky stuff, which would be fine with me, I think. I'm becoming less and less of a purist and more of a realist. I don't need to hike. If they've rerouted the trail to a gnarly place, I don't necessarily have to take it. So looking forward to kind of a nice, much nicer afternoon than what I was expecting. I was expecting a steep climb out of here over rocks, and he said there are streams that are running down the rocks and it's just wet and rocky and gnarly, and it doesn't sound like a good time. He said the trail's ugly, there's nothing to see, and he said that this alternate route will get me back on the AT very close to before the shelter that I want to be at. So I think I'm going to do that. I've been procrastinating a little bit. It just feels good not to do too stinking much this morning. I'm having 2 breakfasts this morning. I had one already, went up to the barbershop, had four mini Danishes. Now I'm going to have a second breakfast. I'm going to eat a lot of snacks. I'm going to kind of pump some calories here while I have availability. But anyway, this is my new sun hoodie I bought at Cabela's. I'm hoping it'll be a little better, so I keep taking you guys with me. Okay, so I'm doing something different this morning. Well, this afternoon, I talked to Frank at the barbershop. He said the AT goes up over really rocky, wet, slippery stuff, and a lot of people get hurt up there. I've got a full load of food, so I'm doing a road walk around that section. He said this actually is the course of the AT in the beginning, so technically I'm not cheating. So it brings me really close to the shelter I want to be at tonight. It's just going to be a road walk, and you can hear the vehicles going by. I have a notion as I go on that it's going to get less and less busy. The road I'm on now isn't terribly busy, but they're all paved roads, and probably 6-7 miles. So I've taken directions from a stranger. Yeah, I've kind of verified them on my Gaia GPS application, so I'm comfortable that I can get there. So it's just a matter of doing it. He just said that a lot of people get injured on this section because their water run down the rocks and they're slippery and gnarly, and frankly I've had enough of rocks, so hopefully I can avoid a section. I'm still doing the walk, and I'm just doing it in a different way. So I've ended my detour. I'm back on the AT. Not too far from the shelter I want to be at tonight. I looked at additional options, but today I'm just taking it easy. My feet were pretty beat, so I think trail miles, this works out to be 8 miles, I don't know, 8-9 miles, which is nothing to sneeze at. The next probably good place to camp would be like 6 more, and that would be like 15 or 16. Don't think it's accomplishing the goal I want for today. Just to get some miles in, but not push too hard. So I'm going to get to camp and set up and take a load off and figure out what the next few days look like. I think today is Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days. I want to be in Palmerton to meet my son and my wife and take a zero. So I need to get that figured out. It looks like I'm going to have to do 13, 14 mile days. Hopefully that's not too big of a challenge. I don't know what the rocks are like up through here, but 13 miles in rocks is 13 miles in rocks. It just takes longer. You have to go slow. So I am just gonna keep pressing it down the road. Right now the trail is wide and flat, so I avoided a pretty steep rocky section that the barber Frank said was dangerous, that it had water running down it, and that a lot of people get smacked up there. So I'm okay with that. He also said that the route I took was the original AT. At one point took that route. I don't know if that, I mean, I can't confirm that, so I have to take Frank's word for it. But I got to see a little nice countryside and have a little easier walking today, and so it's all toward the same goal. Probably hike the same amount of miles, just in a different way. So I got a stream crossing here, not too bad. So anyway, it's not really too far from the end of the day. For the next week, they're calling for showers either in the night or during the day, thunderstorms, but no like monsoon rain event. So hopefully that'll keep the temperatures moderated and help me get on down the trail. So I'm here at my campsite for this evening. Turns out that Frank at the barbershop's directions were perfect. Got me right back to the Appalachian Trail. I had a easier walk. I walked 3.5, 4 hours, so it's probably 6-8 miles. I walk a lot faster on the road than I do in the woods. I got here early. I'm just taking today as sort of a more laid back day to get a little rest, as I said earlier. I have a couple of camp chores I need to do. I've got a couple pieces of clothing I need to wash out and hang up here, and hopefully they'll smell a little better tomorrow. And need to make some supper. I'm not terribly hungry because I had 2 breakfasts and 4 little Danishes, and then I ate a lot of my snacks today, even though I didn't hike that far. So I'm gonna let that go till a little later in the evening. Just feels good to lay down. I think maybe the 5 days before, the last 5 days, I pushed pretty hard, and the rocks have been bothering my feet, and so anyway, I have 3 days to make it to Palmerton to meet up with Mrs. Grayson and Tim, and so I'm going to do that today. I wore the sun hoodie I bought at Cabela's, and I really like it. As soon as it gets damp and get a little breeze to it, it really cools. So I think this is a great purchase. I wish it wouldn't be such a light color because it's going to start looking like crap. But that's the way it is. I'll spend another night in the hammock. I've been sleeping pretty good the last couple of nights, and so it's nice to sleep good. So hopefully I can get a little bit more spizzerinctum, a little bit more energy back for tomorrow. Tomorrow I think I need, depends, the next shelter is like 10 point some, and right now the water spacing is really a big deal here in Pennsylvania, so I might hike at 10 point something, or I might hike to the shelter make supper, carry some water, and go to a campsite that's another 3 or 4 miles down the trail. I don't know. It depends on what the topography is. I need to get to Palmerton in 3 days, so I can't afford I can't afford days less than 10 miles. And then I'll take a 0. Today it wasn't a Nero, it was like 3/4 of a day, and so I'll take a 0. I think my body needs a 0. I still, you know, people tell me, well, they're jealous of the things that I'm eating, like Snickers bars and Little Debbie pies and stuff like that to pack in the calories. But frankly, after you've had them for a while, you get tired of those too. What I wouldn't give for a good old baked potato and a couple slices of meatloaf and some succotash. I mean, real food. So it gets tiring eating all this, and even when you buy the trail meals, that like the freeze-dried meals, they are not all that special either. So it's just a compromise. Food merely becomes fuel when you need to keep it in your body. But anyway, this is the end of day 73. Had a couple of unique things for you there with the interview with Frank at the barbershop. So it was sort of an interesting day. So we'll get up tomorrow and we'll do it all over again. So a little correction for today. You'll hear me say multiple times in these videos that it's day 73. It's actually day 74, so get confused. So when you hear 73, it's wrong. Today is day 74.